Everyone needs a home, a place where they feel safe, protected, and are given a chance to grow. I'm sure everyone has a reliable home just like that. But now imagine losing that reliable home overnight without a single warning and no way to stop it from disappearing. For millions of marine animals, that isn't just simple imagination. Beneath the ocean, the coral reefs, their home are vanishing as we speak. By the time I finish this speech, 17,000 square meters of coral reefs will have died. In the next 7 minutes, over three entire football fields of ocean homes will have quietly disappeared. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jane Kim, and I'm here to speak about something that can speak for itself: the ocean. It's easy to forget about coral reefs. They're not beside you when you wake up. They are next to you when you eat, sleep, work, or play. They don't affect your daily lives, right? I'm just sitting here talking about something that doesn't even matter. Or so you thought. The loss of coral reefs does not only affect fish or sea turtles, it affects every single one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, every piece of trash, every piece of plastic that reaches our oceans threatens the coral reefs and the habitat that many creatures rely on. More specifically, we damage coral reefs through two massive systematic threats. Firstly, as global warming increases, a temperature rise of just 1 or 2 degrees causes coral bleaching. Stressed and starved, these corals turn completely white, dotting the ocean like skeletons of their former vibrant selves. Second, industrial activities like commercial fishing nets and ocean drilling hurt coral growth and also contribute to chemical runoff, which blocks sunlight corals desperately need. So how does this circle back to humans and affect us? Coral reefs cover less than 1% of the entire ocean floor, and support roughly more than 500 million people worldwide. Thousands of marine species rely on the reefs for shelter and survival. When the reefs collapse, the entire marine food chain collapses with them. Coral reefs act as the bedrock of an entire underwater city. Corals act as apartments, while marine animals are the citizens, with schools of fish using the coral branches as homes, workplaces, and stores. Imagine a human city where an earthquake suddenly erases every single building and road all at once. When we destroy 1% of that seafloor, we're destroying an entire ocean's infrastructure. And this goes further than marine life. Reefs act as natural breakwaters and reduce wave energy, protecting shorelines from multiple natural disasters such as storms, hurricanes, and tsunamis. Additionally, reefs generate $375 billion every single year through tourism and fishing. If they die, coastal economies will collapse, leaving millions of people without food or income. Lastly, we're losing our future cures. Scientists are currently using reef organisms to develop treatments for cancer and heart disease. We are destroying a potential life-saving cure before it can ever be discovered. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the world isn't completely ignoring these problems. Some environmental laws exist in our world today. One example can be the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, an international treaty that establishes the legal framework governing marine and maritime activities worldwide. Although they provide an essential foundation for ocean governance, I'm afraid it has significant limitations. It relies heavily on individual countries to enforce its regulations and lacks binding mechanisms to address climate change. Within countries, governments only perform small efforts to protect the ocean. But how far can no littering signs near the oceans and banning plastic straws in Starbucks go? The problem is that current policies remain weak. However, in the face of great harm, there is still some amount of hope. Our governments are clearly capable of making big changes in our world. So what are the solutions? First, we must launch public-private partnerships using tax incentives, in the sense that governments have to create first regulations that will actively make businesses obey. Despite international regulations, businesses still lack a reason to prioritize these coral reefs over their instant profit. Now imagine if the government says that if you use smaller boats, smaller fishing vessels, and more environmentally friendly fishing equipment, they will give you a 30% tax break. We can maintain a thriving fishing industry, which is essential for many people's livelihoods, while safely guarding our coral reefs. Second, governments must actively support NGOs and conservation groups while funding scientific research that are looking for alternative ways to save these reefs. For example, the Coral Reef Alliance uses space satellites to locate the most resilient reefs on Earth, while other scientists are using ocean speakers to remove baby corals to safe locations. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past 7 minutes, 17 square meters of coral reefs have died. 3 entire football fields of ocean homes have now disappeared. While I described government action, private partnerships, and scientific innovation as the solution, none of that is possible without our active attention and interest. So as we go about our day today, please remember, by saving marine homes, we are saving our own. And as I said in the very beginning of my speech, everyone deserves a safe and protected home. Thank you.